All right, where do we begin tonight? I think that's a pretty easy answer for all of you who are tuning in or are here live at the UPick6 Tap House. Welcome in, everybody, to the United Podcast, brought to you, as always, by our friends here at John Russell Hospitality and at UPick6. My goodness, what a last few days it has been. Whether you were with us live in Indianapolis, whether you were part of that welcome back ceremony that took place yesterday, or if you've been following along on our social media channels, maybe you watched the game on CBS, you listen on Westwood One. However you may have been taking in the last weekend, we all know exactly what went down in Indianapolis on Easter Sunday, April 5th, in a history-making moment, not just for Gannon men's basketball, but for the university, as the Golden Knights bringing home the first national championship in program history and the first NCAA team championship in the history of Gannon athletics. It was a weekend that was filled with incredible, memorable moments, intense gameplay, and ultimately a team that was clear head and shoulders above the rest of the field in Division II, and they proved it in every single which way. So tonight, as we begin our show, the theme of this show is very simple. It is all men's basketball, as the national champs will join us here on the United Podcast. So much to talk about tonight. We'll speak with three of the players that helped get this thing done, and head coach Easton Bozzoli, as they are now back, starting to get a little more well-rested, although they're still pretty tired, and understandably so, but happy that they're with us here on this first week of April, first show of April that we did. Of course, had the break for Easter, but we're more than happy to be back in a pretty good way to start the month as well. Before we get to that, though, let's go ahead and get to our dish of the day, which, of course, we start every single show with. Our dish of the day here on this Thursday, April the 9th. It's a really good one, in fact, one that many of you probably have had that's been on the menu before. Let's go ahead and show you our dish of the day, and that is none other than the chicken salad. Powering student athletes like Jenna Claus, who had 2 home runs in a doubleheader victory against Point Park on Wednesday. You can get a dish of the day today at the UKnighted Tap House or wherever you head over to John Russell Hospitality Restaurants. It is our chicken gorgonzola salad, our dish of the day. All right, let's get things started with Jaden Calloway. Not a bad freshman season for you, eh? Yes, pretty good way to end things. One of the 13 players that helped the Gannon Golden Knights win the national championship, their first in program history, and, of course, the first NCAA national championship in Gannon athletics history as well. First and foremost, have you gotten any sleep?
I got pretty good sleep Tuesday and yesterday a little bit.
Better you than me. I don't know how the heck you guys have done it. It's been a whirlwind since you guys got off the bus on Tuesday, of course, since you also had a chance to soak this entire championship experience in. Let's go back to just the weekend as a whole.
Yeah.
Joint championship, right? Division I, Division II, Division III. Can you just take me through what that experience was like for you? Forget playing in the game for a second. Everything that happened in Indianapolis and that experience of playing in that big stage.
I feel like the experience was good. Like, we showed up and we came out. We was welcomed by, like, everybody with, like, the NCAA. And we got to take a picture in front of the car, the F1 car. I feel like that was pretty good. And, like, when we got into the room, the hotels, like, the beds was made. We got gear.
Yeah.
And then, like, the fan events that we went to for, like, the D1, I feel like that was, like, very nice for us. Like, we all got together, have fun.
Yeah.
And then going to the game, watching the Final Four game, watching the championship game, that was also, like, a fun moment because I feel like we bonded more. Like, we have fun. And I feel like we use that to, like, our ability and just, like, got closer.
Got a chance to enjoy that national championship game a little more than the Final Four game too, especially since that game was over. Let's talk about just the season as a whole. 34-3, you end the season with. It was really incredible to see the result that you guys had, right? Only 3 losses. A lot of people think, okay, well, there's not a lot of adversity that you had to face, but this is a team that lost in the conference championship game. There were some questions going into the regional. How are you guys feeling? Would you be able to respond? And then you go on that 6-game win streak, and you really, outside of the IUP game, you won every game in convincing fashion. Was there a conversation that took place after the conference championship, maybe just something that was said amongst the players, amongst your coaching staff, that let you guys reset and get ready for the final stretch that you had?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was a conversation. It was more like we knew what we had to do because we lost to them the first time. We basically lost to them the second time the same way. So we knew that, like, we knew what we had to change. We knew what we had to do.
And then, of course, the 6-game win streak that ensues. And you start with the regional with a victory over Charleston. You move on, you beat Cal, which was the team that beat you in the conference championship game, the tough win against IUP, and then the Elite Eight, the way that you guys were able to dominate there. Go back to the championship game against Lander. I want you to take me through your first experience when you got on the floor for the very first time. You know, you're one of the next group that comes in. You seemed like you were fearless. It's only your freshman season. Did you just take everything in stride? What was that like for you, that moment when you get on the floor the first time, and what your thought process is as you're playing?
When I got on the first time, I was confident. Like, I was confident because I know, like, in high school, it was just, like, the same way. When I had big games, I had to be confident. So I knew like, I was on the floor for a reason. So I knew I had to come. I had to bring what my coaches got me on the floor for. My players know what I could do and what I know I could do. So I feel like I was very confident. Like, I had trust in my teammates. They had trust in me.
Do you feel like you grew as an individual to this season as well?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
What was that process like from the beginning of the year? Like, if you could tell the Jaden Callaway at the beginning of the year what you know now, what have you improved upon so much as a player?
I know in the beginning of the season, I ain't talk a lot, and my coach was on me. I know the first practice I had to run, or I had to sit out on the drill because I wasn't talking. And I feel like now, I know, like, I talk a lot, but not really like a lot how they want me to talk. So I feel like I talk more, like I was more like active. Like, I feel like I took what coach was saying and I used it in the game, used it in practice, used it with my team. And I was just trying to be like more of a leader.
This is a special team. They're going to be remembered forever. It's never going to be the same team in back-to-back years, but you look back to the group of 12 that you played alongside. You were all incredibly, incredibly talented, but you're also very close. That was very obvious. How important was that relationship, getting you guys through the tough times and the challenging opponents that you faced in the last few games?
Being close played a huge factor for our team. I feel like since we were so close, that actually like made like our talks like more easier at halftime. Like on halftime, we talk about like, I feel like we all like understand each other when we talk. Like there's no like somebody say something and then somebody would like disagree. I feel we all agree and we all took what we said and we used it and it works very well.
You are taking this all by storm in your first season. You're just a freshman. You've got a lot of college basketball left to be played. But when you look at the season as a whole, what do you learn? What can you learn and have you learned, if you will, from a championship winning team? What it takes to win, to get to this level, to have success game in, game out? I
learned that it's not easy. It's really not. Like, I feel like not everybody could go out there and do what we do. So I feel like, and what like I learned from that was like the bond was very like a huge factor. Like our bond was good, the trust we had in each other was good. So I feel like that was like a good thing for us.
Specifically, I want to ask you about the play that you had in the second half and this was about the only time I heard Coach Bizzoli laugh during any time during the championship game or the Elite Eight run. You had a three that was off of a Grayson Pritzl three, who he had made a couple in a row that got the score, I think, to like 16 points. And I remember you bring the ball down the floor, you looked off about three defenders, and you just stepped back, take one step, and you canned it from deep. Was that a moniker of your confidence? What was your thought process when you hit that thing? Because I'd never seen Coach Bizzoli laugh that hard on the bench once he called that timeout after you hit it.
That was more like a confident thing, if I'm being honest, because I knew like they were sitting back. It was just like I either shoot it or I pass it, and in that moment I was like, I'm shooting it because momentum was going.
Yeah, a lot of confidence in you and a lot of confidence in the rest of the team. Jaden, it's been awesome to get to see your success and your growth, and man, can't wait to see what's in store next. But again, congratulations to you and the entire team, and let's bring up big man Mason Kemp and see what he's got to say.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, Jaden Callaway, one of the 13 national champion players on this Gannon men's basketball team. Again, it is the first NCAA team title in program history and the first NCAA team title in athletics history as well, as so many Golden Knights were responsible for this. Coach Easton, Bizzoli, and all the players just doing what they needed to do following that conference championship loss. 6 straight wins, many of them in convincing fashion, to win this championship and get this done when it matters most. One of the 6 that came back from last year was Mason Kemp, who was a big factor last year, even bigger factor this year. We saw a lot of his great plays that were normally posterizing dunks or things of the sort. This has got to feel good, man. You come back for a second year. Obviously, the way college basketball works, a lot of players are one and done. You came back, you wanted a chance to win this. Was that part of your thought process coming back to Gannon? Is the thought that you could potentially get this done?
Of course, that was a huge thought. I mean, knowing that we got to the Sweet 16, didn't get the job done, but knowing that we had a good group of guys coming back, plus we knew we could get it done. We knew that we had the talent, and then obviously throughout the year we got that camaraderie, we got that good teamwork, and we just figured out a way to win, and that's how it was the whole season.
Was there a point as a player that you sat there and thought, maybe it was after a game during a half, where you looked and you said, I believe this team is capable of getting to the national championship game and winning it? Was there a moment where the lights flicked on, if you will?
After we lost to Cal in the PSAC tournament, I saw the look in everybody's eyes, and I knew that next day at practice when we got to work right away that it was going to happen. I knew that we going in that national tournament, we wanted it more than anybody else, and that's exactly what we did. We went out, we wanted it more than our opponents, got the job done, and we ended up only having one close game the entire tournament. We ended up having 5 blowout wins, which just proved to me that we were the best team in the nation.
And something that doesn't normally happen. You don't always see that, especially when you get to that point in the tournament where in regions that were opposite you, we saw lots of upsets, right? There were teams in the top 5 that didn't even make the Elite 8. You had some upset-minded teams that ended up getting there. And the consistency, I think, was a big thing. What led to the consistency throughout the entire year? 37 games. You only lost 3, and you only had 4 games all year where they were relatively close results.
Right. That just starts with practice, our film sessions, and then workouts. All the individual workouts that each of us do, all the practices that we do that's continuous. We just build on that throughout the entire year. And I think if we don't work as a team to continue to build on it, and we have guys that are straying away from the group, then we won't be able to have the consistency that we had. And that's just not what happened this year.
So let's go back and chat about the experience of being in Indianapolis. It was, I mean, being there and seeing exactly what they did to make this a memorable experience for you. I can only imagine that'll be memories that you'll have forever. But what was the coolest part about being in Indianapolis, besides, of course, winning the championship? That's number one. But what was that like for you, being around that and having the true experience of a combined national championship?
Yeah, it was amazing. I think it was the first time since 2013 they had a combined one with all the divisions. Being able to go to the Final Four game and then the national championship after we won ours, that was just a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And then the Fun Fest, or whatever they called it, that was super fun with the team, going to do a bunch of games. I think just they did a great job allowing us to be a team, going to do these fun things together, while also we did a good job knowing that we were still there for a business trip and going to win a national championship. But they just did a great job bringing all the teams together, have a fun time while also doing our jobs.
I was just joking with Jaden. That national championship probably felt a lot more relaxing than the Final Four game that you were at, right?
Yeah, for sure.
What an experience and what a championship win. And there's so many stories that we can tell about this team in this season and what you guys have been able to accomplish. And I know that you now have 2 years under your belt here at Gannon. So many of these players have such a tight-knit bond, right? You guys are all close friends in some capacity. And the team will obviously look different next year, as every single team does. But what will be, you think, the thing you'll remember most about this team, the guys that you've been around, when it's all said and done with everyone's college careers?
I think it's the love that we had for each individual person on this team. There was never a time where I felt like we butted heads. I mean, obviously there's going to be times in practice where we kind of go at each other, but at the end of the day, we all had love for each other, and it was probably the closest team I've ever been on when it comes to a team aspect. And it just felt – I always felt happy to come into practice and go into games together as a team and just going to each game having that confidence that we were going to walk out with a win.
Your teammates are close. You're also close with your coaches. The man who we see cutting down the nets right now, head coach Easton Bizzoli. We know how good assistant coach Mike Chalice is. He is, without a doubt, in our mind, the best assistant coach to the best head coach in the country. What about the two of them, along with Isaiah Warfield, who was a big part this year, going from player to coach last year to this year? How instrumental were they, and how easy was it to connect with them in the message that they were sending all year?
Yeah, I think having young coaches like them makes it so much easier to connect with them on a personal basis. They went through the stuff that we're going through very recently as well, which makes it just so much easier. I think having them understand what we're going through on a daily basis allows us to push forward faster than other teams are. I don't know. It's a different aspect, because a lot of teams will have those coaches that are around for 20 years, but these guys feel like they've been here 20 years, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and they're also young coaches, right? They're not exactly your age, but they're around that age. They can probably relate with you personally as well. And it never felt like, whether it was a coach or whether it was one of you guys, like you panicked. there was never any panic around the locker room. I think that's one of the things that people who aren't behind the scenes didn't really understand is even in losses, even in games that you weren't playing your best, there was never a sense of concern, even at the championship game, right? You go down 5-0, you miss, I think, your first 7 shots. It didn't seem like there was that worry. Is that something that you felt throughout the season, that just the panic just never existed? It was never there.
Right. Yeah. After losses, we knew we were going to get it fixed. We knew what we needed to do to fix it. We went into film sessions, going to look at our mistakes, and we just attacked those. And then in games, like you said, when we missed those shots, we knew shots were going to start falling. So we just stuck to what we've been doing all year, playing our defense and running our offense the way we did. And we knew at some point those shots were going to fall. And as long as we stuck together as a team, the positive goals are going to come out of it.
Yeah,
so.
No question. What in your mind is going to be something that you'll remember about this team forever, when it's all said and done?
I think the way we celebrate those wins, but also attack the losses, and the way we get better on a daily basis.
No question. Mason Kemp, it's been wonderful getting to watch you come back and do your thing and have some highlight reel plays. But like you and so many others, some of the most humble people that you'll also meet as well, part of this national championship team, man. Congratulations. Enjoy it. Try to get some sleep. I know you probably haven't gotten a lot in the last week, but great stuff, my man.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll bring on Victor Desmond in a minute. Before we get to that, though, let's go ahead and show you what's on tap as Vic comes to the stage to chat about the national championship. Why not? We have competitive cheer and dance taking place right now with their Daytona National Championships. Their first competition in the prelims happening earlier this morning. They'll also have one more competition coming up tonight in prelim action. That's in Daytona Beach, Florida. Actually, a little bit later on the show, we'll also hear from our creative content intern and competitive cheer team member, Kira Donnelly, who's going to give us a bit of a recap from Daytona about what has gone well and what the team is ready and excited for coming up over the course of the next couple of days. So that's happening now. That's one playoff action that's happening in Gannon Athletics. Another one is women's water polo coming up starting tomorrow. They'll begin their WWPA championship run when they face Cal State Monterey Bay at 2 p.m. local Eastern time, 11 a.m. local time in Irvine, California. Baseball just had a change. Their home game against Slippery Rock will not be tomorrow. It'll be Sunday with impending weather. So at Slippery Rock Saturday, home against Slippery Rock on Sunday. DJ Cannon's team, well, all they've done in the last 2 weeks is win 6 straight games and are 7-5 in conference play. Softball's got a pair of road doubleheaders coming your way starting tomorrow when they travel to Clarion for a twin bill at 2 and 4. Then it's at Slippery Rock Saturday at 1 and 3 p.m. Women's lacrosse is back home on Saturday. They'll face Slippery Rock at noon, so it's the Rock versus the Golden Knights essentially all Saturday long for women's lacrosse, baseball, and softball. And women's golf is in action tomorrow as well. They have a one-day 36-hole tournament at the 2 Spring Classic in Lima, Ohio. That'll be their final event before the PSAC Championship meet coming up in Kutztown next weekend. All right, let's bring on Victor Desmond joining us on the show, who is gracious enough to join us, even though he, too, has had little sleep as well. I really hope you've gotten a chance here and there to be able to get rest and process things. Are you hanging in there with everything going on?
I'm hanging in there. It's all good. It feels good to be a champ.
Yeah, man, no doubt. It was really cool when we and I want to show the welcome back video again. You were the guy who got a chance to bring the trophy in there, hold it up with all the fans. Must have been a pretty cool feeling to be back and to witness the crowd that supported you all year. I mean, again, these fans are awesome in a large way. What was that like to be able to be the first one to bring that trophy in?
I mean, it's just right into the support and everything that makes us who we are. That's fueled such a great and successful season. That's fueled this program so much. Like it means the world to have the support from not only the Gannon community, but the Erie community as a whole. There's so many people that have, been invested in this thing for so long, been watching Gannon since they were, our age or even younger. And, to be able to bring a national championship home here is super special.
It is really amazing. And you've gotten a chance to know this in the last couple of years, but for a lot of these fans, this is a life-altering moment for them, right? I mean, they have been waiting for this forever. And you guys, of course, saw that throughout the entire season. Take me through, if you will, Vic. We just talked to Mason Kemp, one of the returners. He was one of 6. You're also one of the guys that came back from the end of last year. Was there that belief when you chose to came back that you could do this, that you could win the national championship? And when did you start to truly believe that was potentially in the cards?
Yeah, with Coach E on the at the head, there's always a chance. We believed in him from the beginning. From when we made the decision to come here, that was what we talked about last year.
Yeah,
and so just talking to him early and knowing what we were going to have coming back, knowing what we were going to have coming in, and then I think it probably really hit for me when I met Precious. Me and Precious were in the gym, together all summer, and just talking about this, talking about what our goals were going to be for the year, what would make this year, where we'd reach, what we're capable of this year, and what it was going to take to get there. And so I think me and him had that belief from the beginning, and especially just knowing, the other 5 that were coming back. I knew that, we had talked about it last year. We had gotten punched in the mouth last year when we got to our highest point. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot of unfulfilled, dreams and goals from the year before that we were dead set on fulfilling this year. And we had great pieces brought in. Easton did a great job, recruiting, bringing in great guys that fit what we do, that fit the character, that fit the culture of what we want to do here. And it made it pretty easy from the jump.
Man, we talk about relationships that you guys have. Every single player is close to each other, and that's going to last whether guys are here, whether they're elsewhere, whether they're graduated for forever. You and P, though, you guys got a special bond, man. Can you describe that relationship and what it was like getting to spend time with him and in a way maybe mentor him a little bit and get him acclimated to this?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a blessing, man. Anytime I feel like I get the opportunity to lead or to help somebody, especially, me being a returner, understanding, the standard here of what we're trying to do, and then obviously bringing his skill set into it and everything that he brings to the table, it was just like, I'm so blessed to get to know that guy, to get to be his roommate, to get all the laughs, see him. I mean, he's a one-on-one guy, different personality, and it's been great, man. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
And everyone connected really well. A lot of teams say that, right? But you have to have good bonds to win a national championship. You have to. Let's be honest, you got to tolerate each other to win a national championship. You played 37 games. Yeah, you played 6 months of freaking basketball.
It's a lot of time
was it just easy from the jump to connect with these guys, especially the new guys that came in?
It was, and I think something Coach E talks about a lot is not sacrificing on character, and we didn't do that. We have 13 guys on this team that are extremely high character individuals that love the game, that love to compete, and so when you're in a room surrounded by guys with the same mentality as you, and we're all going in the same direction, towards the same goal, it's like, how do we not get along? We're just all pulling one direction, and we never let the competitiveness of practice or anything like that or minutes, and I think the biggest thing about this team was there was no egos. We all just genuinely wanted to win. We genuinely wanted to succeed as a unit, and we wanted each other to succeed, and in the end it worked out.
I'm not going to say it was easy because there's never an easy game when you get to the playoff stage, but you win 6 straight after the conference championship loss, and your wins from the Elite Eight on were 26, 18, and 23 points. I don't want to ask if it felt that easy, but did it feel like you guys were just in such a rhythm that there was nothing that was going to beat you? Because, I mean, you make the argument you didn't even play your best game in any of the 3 games that you played in the Elite Eight on, and you still won by that margin.
I mean, it was just staying focused on what we do. We had an extreme belief in everything that we've done to get prepared to this point. So, I guess walking into the game, you never think like, oh, we're going to blow them out like in an Elite 8 game or Sweet 16, going all the way back to the first round of the region even. And so, obviously we go into it just thinking, let's just do what we do. Let's stay true to who we are. Let's stay true to what got us here, and we'll live with the result. And it was great to get some serious wins out of the way in there. And I wouldn't say it was too easy, but it was easy.
Yeah,
it felt good to get it done with the guys and have that much confidence in what we do, and that much confidence that like we've felt the entire year that we are the best team in the country, and it felt really good to go and prove that.
Was Indy a cool experience? It seemed like you guys seemed to enjoy it, especially after 3 o'clock on Sunday, understandably so. What was that like? Just getting to be part of the joint championship and in a large way, kind of being along the same lines as what D1 experiences every year.
Surreal, honestly. It was just crazy. Bright lights and, big courts, big stages. And it's something you live for. It's something you dream about when you're a kid. It's definitely still processing. I haven't really gotten through the whole thing yet, but it was an unbelievable experience. Something I'll remember for the rest of my life, especially getting to experience it with 12 of my closest friends and 3 mentors and guys that, I love that have helped me grow and develop so much here just as a person, as a basketball player. Like, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
You call them mentors, man. You played with one of your coaches in Isaiah Warfield last year. Coach Mike Chalice has an incredible relationship. We know how good he is and that far in age from you guys. He gets it. What about those 3 in particular just made it easy for you guys to do what you did all year?
Man, they're just special. They're so gifted as relationship people. Their ability to build trust on a team. It's a huge reason why we were so successful is we always felt like, they trusted us and we trusted them in everything that we do, and we're all moving in the same direction. And, the connectivity that we have on this team from, top to bottom is super rare. It's something that, it's hard to build. And for them to have found a way to build it, not only this strong, but this strong in 2 years, and a lot of turnover and guys leaving and guys going other places and finding a way every year to just rebuild stronger. It's a testament to who they are. It's a testament to the relationships that they're willing to go and pursue with each and every one of their players. And I'm so grateful that I got to play for those guys.
So many of you have great careers still ahead of you. You have a great life ahead of you. You all have great heads on your shoulders. When you're sitting at the campfire someday, you'll probably still be texting these guys, but you've got a family, you've got people around. What'll be the one thing that you will tell family, friends about the season, maybe a memory or something that'll always stick with you?
Man. That's a tough one. There's so many. I mean, this team, we have memories every day. There's something that you can point to pretty much every day, a really good laugh. Somebody said something funny, somebody did something
that happened
funny,
on an hourly basis.
On an hourly basis. So it's I always say this is probably the most unserious team that I've ever been on. It's most successful for sure, but we like to keep it loose. It's part of it. It's a superpower. It's part of, what makes us so good is our ability to be human still too, and enjoy the life side of it, the aspect of relationships. And, just being around these guys every day is so much fun. There's too many moments to point to.
No doubt, man. It's been a pleasure having you around the last 2 years, man. You're destined for great things, and happy you get that hat and that piece of the net with you forever, good. Man. Feels pretty good. Congrats, Vic. Great stuff. We'll bring on Coach EB, but enjoy this, man. Victor Desmond is a national champion along with the other 12 players on this team. Just so many efforts of men that will never go unnoticed, and it'll be the first national championship, as we talked about in program history, NCAA team national championship in Gannon athletics history. So a lot of amazing things the last few days, and it's, again, as Vic said, really hard to process for the guys who were in that locker room and were a part of it. And this guy may not have had time to process it either, because I think you've been on the phone, whether it's with interviews or family, friends, for the last few days. Head coach Easton Bizzoli, are at the ripe old age of 30, national champion. Coach, give me a sense of just kind of where your mind's at right now in terms of processing this entire weekend, the championship, and everything in between.
Oh, I'll process it in a few weeks.
Fair enough.
Right now it's like it's back to work and trying to build our roster for next year, and we've got a great foundation to build on. I think we have a similar foundation as we had last year, which just is really encouraging because we've got some great players that we can one, advertise in the recruiting process. Like what's helped us is to be able to have some guys point to some great players in recruiting and say, hey, this team is still set to continue to win. We've got great players here, and we're now just in that mode that for the next 4 to 6 to 8 weeks we'll be all recruiting and building the roster out, and then we'll enjoy a little bit after that once we have the roster set again. Probably look back a little bit on on some more of how special this year was and how special the guys were, and then we'll be quickly moving on to preparing for the following season.
That's the beauty of sports, isn't it? This is just no days off, right? You win this thing, you get excited, and again, I'm not trying to take away. It's certainly exciting, but this is an environment. It's a profession where you're always thinking about what's next. Is that something that drives you just as much as winning championships?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're so process oriented all year. So just because now we won the last game, it is great, and we want to take some time to enjoy it and celebrate it, and we should filter that into what we're doing. But at the same time, it's like it was always process, and it still is process, and we're in the process right now for the following year. So I think when you're so focused on that stuff and not focused on the end goal, and maybe take a peek at what could be there at the end here and there throughout the year, but then lock right back into what it takes that day. I think that makes it a lot different in the transition between year to year.
You talk about the recipe of what makes a great team. It shows in your play, right? You're selfless, you're resilient, you're relentless, you're the tougher team. We heard that so many times all year. What did this team exemplify about that I'm sure you'll start talking to recruits and other potential players about? This is the makeup of the team that we have to have and that we had this past year.
Yeah, I mean, for one, we're not going to try and be this year's team every year. I mean, not in the sense of being the exact people, because we're not going to have the exact people, right? If Lane Sarver and Victor Desmond have extra years of eligibility, and then everybody else was still coming back, next year's team would still be a different team, right? Just even if it's the same people, we're going to face different challenges, we're going to face different things. So, it's the same sense of everything, right? Like I'm not trying to be somebody else as a coach. I'm trying to grow as a coach every year. We should be trying to grow as a organization and a program every year. So, we're not going to be sitting here going, all right, how do we be last year's team? That's just setting ourselves up to compare. Every year we've got to try and be the best team that group is capable of each year. And hopefully that's another national championship. I mean, that's of course what we're all going to strive for. And the expectation is every time we step on the floor, we're going to win. So I look at this year's team and the things that made them as special as anything, just specifically on the floor, was we were as physically imposing as any group I've ever been around, right? Like you play Gannon University basketball this year, and you are going to walk out of that game with some bruises. Like this group was just very, very set on, you're going to feel us in the full court and in the half court. We're going to really be on you from the jump, and it's going to be difficult for you physically, mentally, and we're going to try and wear on both. So, I think that's a big thing right there.
Take me through, if you can. We talk a lot about processing, right, and trying to process exactly what's gone down between the national championship and whatnot. But you've now spent 3 years here, 2 as a head coach, 1 as an assistant, and you were part of the turnaround that really started things. Take me through what you've been able to just see as a whole of how this program has been able to develop in the way that it has from the time that you stepped in as an assistant to now 3 years later, hoisting the trophy.
Yeah, I mean, it's all, God's been good and given us awesome people. We're trying to just continue to build. We're trying to continue to improve and get better. Figure out what makes sense, figure out how to continue success. I think that the good thing is that we've got this big foundation that we've seen what it takes. We know the caliber of people that are required to get that done. And I think that stuff just really matters, that, we can pull from experiences like this. We can pull from experiences from each of the years from the last 3 years and go, this is what it takes to win at a really high level. And I think that our guys have always believed, but shoot, now there's some serious credibility to it as well.
Yeah. Well, last one for you, Coach. I know you got a lot going on. We have, of course, all kinds of other fun media obligations for you in the next few weeks. But when you get a chance in the next few weeks to sit down and look back and reminisce on this incredible run, what will be some of the things that you take from this team and maybe tell friends and family about 30 years down the road of how special they were?
Oh, there's, their willingness to sacrifice for each other, their love for each other, genuine love for each other, like not surface level. It was amazing to watch it be built throughout the year. We were not our best in October. We weren't our best in November. We weren't our best in December. We went through adversity. We experienced lows. We grew closer together in those moments because of the character of these guys. And I think that it will be those things that stick out, as much as any win, that we can sit back and go, man, those guys were just uniquely connected and uniquely loved each other, and just were willing to do anything possible for the betterment of each other.
It showed, and they did, and that's why they are the national champs. Man, I'll let you get out of here. I know you got stuff going on, but thanks again for taking a few minutes, and as everyone says, congratulations on the national championship.
Thanks, brother.
All right, Easton Bizzoli, head coach of the Golden Knights, with the final word tonight of all of our live guests and live interviews. Again, Gannon, first national championship in program history. We keep harping on it. Just an incredible run to what has been a wonderful, wonderful end to the winter season. And again, just exciting to see what they have been able to do. Actually, the team heading to Erie News right now for an interview, so we're letting them go so they can go ahead and make that happen. A lot of exciting media outlets that are wanting to get a chance to talk to the Golden Knights, and deservedly so. Hey, by the way, after the national championship game for men's basketball, it's a men's basketball and so many other athletic programs at the university that are doing their absolute best every single year. And after the national championship, there is an update in the updated Learfield Directors Cup standings. It is our highest ranking ever after any season. Gannon University Athletics is 6th in the current rendition of the Learfield Directors Cup standings. This ranks the top athletic programs in all of Division II based on athletic success. So we're nearing the top 5. Still a lot more exciting action left to be had at the end of the winter-spring hybrid season and spring season as well. So a huge congratulations again to men's basketball, all of our winter and fall programs for concluding great seasons, and we have more on the horizon as well to come in the end of the spring sports season, which is rapidly approaching. If you can hardly believe it, we're already into April already. I know for me, time has flown, and I'm sure for a lot of you, it's flown as well. Hey, before we get to our Daytona recap for competitive cheer and dance, a couple of other things we want to showcase and highlight, including our Student Athletes of the Week. Big congratulations to Logan Ayers from baseball and Rayla Smith from lacrosse for our Student Athlete of the Week recipients. Also want to highlight Logan Ayers specifically because he just set a program record last week. 9 saves does the Southpaw have in his career. That's a Gannon program record. So while all this is happening, we have teams that are breaking individual records, team milestones. There's always something new every single week with Gannon Athletics that we can put into the record books, and that's just the way that we like it. A couple of other news and notes to get to is the Dixon Trophy standings. We mentioned the Learfield Directors Cup standings, but Gannon is also number 1 in the Dixon Trophy standings. That ranks the conference, the PSAC, in terms of which teams are doing the best athletically. Gannon's won those titles in 3 of the last 4 seasons. They're looking to make it 4 and 5 after the spring semester this year, so we'll keep tabs on that and get you up-to-date information as we learn more at the end of the season. By the way, a lot of fans, I know you want this, so I'm going to keep the QR code on the screen for a little bit now. If you want men's basketball championship gear, this is where you go to get it. Scan the QR code on your screen right now. It'll take you to the team store, which is open through the middle of May. So many really cool things, sweatshirts, T-shirts, some sweatpants as well, and I promise I've been told that they are working on getting championship hats in the team store as well. I know that's been a big ask for many of our fans, so we're in the process of working on that now. You can get your championship gear for Gannon men's basketball by scanning that QR code. We also have a splash page on our website, www.gannonsports.com, as to how you can get that championship gear. All right, let's shift our focus for the remainder of this show to competitive cheer and dance, as they are currently in action right now at the NCAA and NDA National Championships in Daytona Beach, Florida. It is one of the coolest venues, maybe the coolest venue and coolest atmospheres in all of our Gannon athletic programs for championships. And earlier today, two of the teams, including Team Performance and Game Day Performance, taking place with their prelim competition. Each team will perform twice, once in prelims, once in championships, and then placements following that. So two teams in prelim action today. No one better than our creative content intern, Kira Donnelly, who's also part of the competitive cheer team, who was in Daytona and caught up with us for a couple of minutes earlier today to talk about everything that went down at Daytona today, plus answer your burning questions. Here's a look at our first Daytona recap of the weekend. First Daytona report. Live from Daytona, our creative content intern, Kira Donnelly, who is also part of the competitive cheer team, joining us. Things going okay down there so far?
Yeah, we had a great practice day yesterday for both our cheer team as well as our dance teams when we got down here. Just getting used to the atmosphere and being right on the beach is super fun as well.
Yeah, no doubt. You had your game day routine a little bit earlier this afternoon. Take me through what you liked from that routine and if it got you off to a good start with this competition.
Going out, we're very confident in our skills. We knew that we could do it. We had a great warm-up. A few shaky things, but we had the confidence going out there. In my opinion, and like a lot of the teammates that I've talked to and coaches, we had a really good run when we did go out there.
Team performance tonight, it's your second prelim of the day. What's the expectation for tonight? How the team is feeling as you get ready for what will be your second of two performances this evening?
They're gonna go out there and bring the energy, and they again know like the skills that they're doing are skills that they can do in their sleep and skills that they're confident in. So we're going out there. They're gonna go out there with lots of energy and bring a performance that they're also proud of.
What has it been like so far? Maybe the most exciting part besides the competition end of it so far for you and the team in Daytona?
Personally, I love the practice day because everybody always has like cute outfits and like maybe not like their school colors and it's like all glitter and everybody has like their hair in fun ways. So like personally, that's my favorite thing is I'm always going around and being like, oh, that's so cute, or like that top is like has rhinestones on it. So like personally, that's my favorite part, and it's definitely like fun to be in like the busyness of like the chaos.
Have to ask the burning question, was there a certain movie in particular that dominated the screen time when you were driving down to Daytona?
We like to watch fun, family-friendly kids movies, so we watched The Greatest Showman and the Lego Movie, which was a hit on the bus.
All right, those are the burning questions that were asked and answered from Kira Donnelly, and you'll be hearing from Kira both tomorrow and Saturday as part of the Competitive Cheer and Dance National Championships in Daytona Beach, Florida. Finals competition begins tomorrow, and that will be extended into Saturday when the Golden Knights wrap up their season in Daytona Beach on Saturday. So best of luck to Competitive Cheer and Dance. Again, women's water polo also in postseason action coming up starting tomorrow. You can follow along all of those postseason games at our website, GannonSports.com. That's going to do it for our show tonight. What a show it was. Way to kick off the month of April with exciting sports action around all of our athletic programs. We're back next week for our show at the UPick6 Tap House. Athletic Director Megan Morphy is going to join me to break down about the winter sports, the Dixon Trophy standings, the Learfield Directors Cup standings, and so much more. Can't wait for that program. We hope you'll join us on that show as well. We leave you tonight one more time with the sights and sounds of our men's basketball team when, with a police escort and fire equipment in tow, got a chance to come back to Erie for the first time with that championship trophy to a raucous ovation by so many Golden Knight faithful who have been around this program for such a long time. We'll see you all next week, everybody. Have a great rest of your Thursday.